an equitable, permanent, peaceful, developmental solution is not litigation but mediation.
It is our privilege to be speaking with retired Supreme Court Judge Justice Kurian Joseph, a jurist widely respected for his prolific judicial contributions. He is also known for bringing compassion, humanity, and deep listening into the pursuit of justice. Over the years, Justice Kurian Joseph has consistently reminded us that conflict resolution is not merely about deciding who is right, but also about restoring peace, dignity, understanding, and human relationships. He has been a generous mentor and guiding influence to us, and many of his reflections have shaped the way we think about ethical mediation and mediation training. Today, we will explore the thoughts on justice, peace, harmony, and the evolving role of private mediation in India with Justice Kurian Joseph. Thank you so much for giving us this time, and as we explore what is justice, harmony, and how that can help us in our society.
Thank you, Nadia, for the kind words.
You have spoken about justice not only as a legal outcome, but also as a human outcome. Can you elaborate what that really means for us?
So, I'll ask you a counter question. So, what is the human face of justice? Human face of justice is actually peace. Why there is conflict? Because there is no proper understanding, or there is a misunderstanding, or there is a wrong understanding. And what happens out of that? Goes into division. When there is division, it impedes progress, and there is no peace. There is no peace at home when there is a division or a conflict between husband and wife, or among the relatives, or even among the neighbors. So, the underlying issue could be the wrong understanding or misunderstanding that which led to the conflict. So, the idea of a proper mediation is to remove all these things, as you have rightly put in the conference, is actually unconflicting. So, if you want to have an unconflicting approach, you must know what is the conflict.
Absolutely.
And you must also know what led to the conflict. And then from there we need to tackle. It's like actually derailing of a train. No? You don't leave the train there. You don't leave the track there. You go back and make an investigation as to what happened, and then put the train back into the proper track. And for that you need to repair the track, and then you also need to do something more. That this should not happen again at the same place in the same situation. So these are all the efforts that we need to take in mediation. We just don't resolve a dispute, but we actually remove the roots of the problems or misunderstanding or wrong understanding which led to the conflict. That is how we usher in peace. Because if you ask me as a judge, what do? We decide an issue before us. That's the end of it. We can't go beyond that, and we cannot go behind that also. We just give a judgment.
Right.
But in mediation, it's not giving a judgment, it's not giving a resolution, it's actually taking people to a peaceful coexistence, as you rightly put, harmony. Once there is harmony, then there will not be any issues among them or between those people in future. Once we actually completely find and then remove those generative influences which led to the conflict.
You mentioned we have to get to the root, and that's how harmony happens. You've had so many emotional mediations, as we can call them, and there must be, what is the secret to actually being able to understand the roots and then clear it? We'd love to know more about that.
That's a very interesting question, Radhya. See, you said you rightly use the word emotions. You take any type of conflict or a dispute, whatever name you want to call it, be it corporate, be it family, be it community, there is some element of emotions involved in it. Those emotions, generally the juries or judges can, or even all of us lawyers also, no? We all, what do? We all put them to the periphery. And at the center, what do we see? Center, we see only the problem. All right. So what we do? We try to solve the problem, give a shake hand, and leave them. But what remains there? The periphery, what we have actually put into periphery, the emotion, the emotional disconnect or discontent still remains. So what I've been doing is to make the periphery the center and the center the periphery, so that we go to the roots. Therefore, there is an absolute melting of the tensions among them, and once it is melted completely, it goes. That's the emotions come from that area. No? Go to the straight to the seat of emotions, the heart. And once you are able to crack that area where you have parked somewhere, please take them to the center, address it, clear it, then it will be very easy to address the problem. But addressing the problem only, it will not take you anywhere. This will repeat. You can resolve one dispute. These parties will come back to you again with another problem. Because what they have parked in the periphery, that emotional disconnect is still there. That emotional disconnect leads to the trust deficit. And that restoration of trust by addressing the emotional disconnect is the most important aspect when you say the importance of addressing the emotion in mediation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just hearing you talk about how to remove that trust deficit, it's such a big word actually in a mediation. Can you share an example of something that you have actually been able to display through your mediation journey now about?
Yeah, since it is a confidential, process, I will not name the parties, but I can tell you several incidents. Let me take one matrimonial aspect. In the matrimonial dispute, not aspect dispute, the parties who came to me are very young, educated couple coming from very, I must say, very wealthy and equally educated families also. But they were completely, poles apart. There had been no communication at all. Their communication was WhatsApp only. And I asked them, how do you live as a family, as husband and wife, by communicating through WhatsApp? So restoration of conversation is the most important aspect in addressing a family dispute. And because you don't internalize and leave it, oh, chod that. You can, of course, say, yeah, forget, forgive. It will never go. It will still be there. It can go only if you take out, address it, clarify it, and then, then it will go. Therefore, what I saw was that, these people were giving me a respectful silence between them. So I asked them to, what's I found that this disconnect or trust deficit started from a remote control. This remote control is in majority of the family disputes. I found people, the young fellows are not happily in a position to live happily because they are actually controlled by the respective parents. They don't leave them. So I always tell the parents, once your children are married, you leave them. Give them their own space. Let them start as a unit on their own. Please don't interfere into. And I tell the children also, please don't discuss your internal affairs with them. You talk to your parents about the weather, about your health, about your other aspects. Don't never ever permit anybody, be it your parent, be it your sibling, to enter into the private space of a couple, the husband and wife. That is an exclusive space meant only for them. Never ever meant for any friend or sibling or father or mother. No. If you are able to find that space, then easily solved and they will live ever in harmony. But they realize that it's important that there is something called we as a couple. Neither you nor me, but there is we. So we need to move on as a couple. That's matrimonials. Corporate disputes. In corporate entities also, so majority of the corporate entities, at the root, it's actually would have started as a family affair, or relatives, or even the neighbors, or even our colleagues. You would have started a company. Beginning will be all right because everybody will be quite enthusiastic. Then then they will start. This fellow is investing only less time than me. I do all the work. My skill is there, but this fellow only takes profit, etc., etc. And slowly, in between there will be somebody who wants to take some benefit out of this division. It could be a staff. It could be a simple driver of your car. Just putting some wrong nonsense in the. So they have their own private interests to keep these people away, so that they get their. So the same thing I used to call together and tell them. See, if you are a corporate entity, it has a different personality altogether as an entity. In that entity, unless there is unity, it will never ever progress. And why do you do business? Why are you in the corporate world? You want to have your presence, not for your presence or your name, but you want to invest your time, money, energy, and make profit and progress. That's what we call that. If you put it in one word, it's prosperity. There will never be any prosperity unless there is peace within. So peace, development, prosperity. This is what I told them. And then, to make them understand, we may have our own family backgrounds, educational backgrounds, etc. But as a corporate entity, we are one. Whatever misunderstanding we have, we should share. So I told them, every day, don't go for your official board meeting. Please spend 10 minutes over a cup of tea, informally. Have some discussions before you go for formal board meetings. And that has helped very well. And there are several such instances, because to see what, as I told you earlier, what is in the periphery. If you are not able to reach at the periphery, you won't be able to solve it. Well, simple things also. I would say silly things. Very silly things, but it would have become a big thing because they did not address it at the proper time. So that has led to a major division. So that major we have to bring back to the as I told the example of train. You have to go back and see where the train derailed and why it derailed. If you are able to repair that track, you will be all right. This train will run smoothly. And if you don't run it, if you don't repair it properly, just get back the train. If you like repairing a punctured tire, the car will go. But when it comes at the same place, the car which caused the puncture, the cause is not removed. It will continue to give you a cause. So what we call in mediation the underlying issue or underlying problem, that is where the mediator's skill, I would say, is always to be seen and to be shown also. Help facilitate people as to what is the root cause of your misunderstanding, disconnect, or mistrust, or trust deficit. Both there. Because when they started, they were all right. As husband and wife, they had wonderful time. I used to ask them, how are you in your honeymoon? He said, we had a wonderful honeymoon. Then what happened to your honey? Or what happened to your moon? Slowly so helping or facilitating people to go back to their origins and go back to the time and space where they started having problems and address them is the most important. Otherwise, superficially you will see a problem, you can solve it like a judgment I saw. In judgment, you solve a dispute. I mean, you find a solution, of course, but it will not be a lasting solution.
Right, wonderful. I want to explore a little deeper. You mentioned repair. Now, when you come in as a mediator and there are issues, trust deficit that is there, what is your experience of how should the parties actually repair? What is the most influential, powerful way to do that?
Reparation of this trust deficit, there are several ways of doing. One, as I told you, the remote controls, please plug off. If you remove those remote controls who have been causing you trouble, because the people should know where they should stand, other people should stand. That is the first lesson I teach them. Remove from within what should be outside. That was the first lesson. Second thing, I help them to spend time and use some sort of skills to involve each other more freely. Thirdly, to help them to realize that there is one new unit called, if it is family, as a family. There's neither husband nor wife. There is neither a person or B person, a man and woman. No, there's a new unit has come that's called couple or a family. And if it is corporate entity, it's not three or four of us as partners. No, other than the partners, there is something called a company. So the company is the face for which we should actually make our sacrifice of a bit of our space and face. So this is how I help them.
Thank you. That is so useful and valuable to everybody, I'm sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us or the audience that's going to be there? So the audience is largely people who are non-legal, professionals, entrepreneurs. We also have people from the educational institutions who are interested in saying, okay, how can we do this at a school level? We also have people from the healthcare who run hospitals who are saying, can we use this? What would be your advice, or is there anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, maybe as a good question to close this conversation. You see, if we have a right approach on this process of mediation, people only, if you have a problem, where do we go? Come, let's go to a lawyer. This is a normal thinking in the business community. This is normal thinking in the society. We have a dispute. We have a problem. We'll find a lawyer. So that mindset needs to be slowly changed. Need not necessarily be lawyer at the first instance. But what can lawyer do? Lawyer can only help you to go to the court and find a solution through a litigation in court. Rather than a litigation in court, there can be a better method of making an attempt to have a resolution through mediation. Because litigation takes you your time, your money, your energy, and so many things, and it's only distances you more. I have not seen any litigation ending with people coming together, because you can't satisfy both. There's no win-win in any judgment. It is not an equitable resolution of a dispute. Is actually you have to render a judgment. What do we do in judgment? Either you were right or he was wrong. So that is called judgmental. That's the purpose of judges also. No? In the process of litigation, judges will have to say that somebody has gone wrong, somebody has been right. Whereas coming to mediation, we can always say, you said what went wrong or who was right. both these are to be addressed. It's not in mediation, we never ever try that who was right and who was wrong. The mediator's first role is to actually help people not to be judgmental as to who was right and who was wrong. We need to see right and wrong of the person's approach to the issue, and then where did we go wrong in addressing the issue, rather than going to the court access. So this message that court is not your first place or the best place when you have a conflict. You can unconflict it through another, I would say, a better method, rather than wasting your money, wasting your time, energy, and then still getting the disconnect only widened. But you can solve it. An equitable, permanent, peaceful, developmental solution is not litigation but mediation.